why the most loyal friend of humans was once one of our greatest predators? Thousands of years ago, long before cities, farms, or even written language existed, the world belonged to ice, darkness, and survival. Every sunrise was a victory, and every sunset could be your last. Imagine sitting beside a small campfire on a freezing night. The wind howls through the trees, carrying strange sounds from the darkness. Your tribe is exhausted after a long day of hunting, and the fire is the only thing standing between life and death. Then you hear footsteps, not human, not a bear, a wolf. A large grey wolf slowly steps out from the shadows, its golden eyes lock onto yours. For a brief moment, neither of you moves. The fire crackles between you, lighting both faces. You expect the wolf to attack. Instead, it quietly sits down, watching from a safe distance. Neither of you knows it yet. But this silent moment could become the beginning of one of the greatest partnerships in Earth's history. Today, dogs sleep in our homes, protect our families, and stand beside us in times of joy and danger. But their story didn't begin as loyal pets. It began with wild wolves, and one incredible choice that changed the future of both species forever. So, how did one of nature's most feared predators become humanity's closest companion? Let's travel back over 20,000 years to discover the forgotten story of the ancient alliance between wolves and humans. More than 20,000 years ago, Earth looked nothing like the world we know today. Gigantic glaciers stretched across entire continents. Winters were longer, colder, and far more dangerous than anything most people experience today. Thick forests covered the land, while endless grasslands were home to mammoths, giant bison, woolly rhinoceroses, and enormous herds of reindeer. For ancient humans, life was brutally simple. Find food, stay warm, protect your family, survive another day. There were no permanent homes, no supermarkets, and no hospitals. Every meal depended on skill, teamwork, and a little luck. A failed hunt could leave an entire group hungry for days. But humans were not the only ones struggling. Across the frozen wilderness, wolf packs faced the very same challenge. Every hunt demanded speed, strength, and perfect coordination. Chasing large prey across deep snow consumed enormous amounts of energy, and even a successful attack could end with serious injuries. One broken leg meant certain death. In this harsh world, both humans and wolves were competing for the same animals. At first glance, they should have been enemies. Yet nature often creates unexpected opportunities in the hardest times. Humans possessed something unusual. They could control fire. They crafted sharp stone weapons. Most importantly, they worked together in ways few other animals could. Wolves had different strengths. Their hearing was extraordinary. Their sense of smell could detect prey from incredible distances. They moved silently through forests and communicated almost perfectly within their packs. Neither species realized it yet. But together their strengths could become something far greater than either could achieve alone. The frozen world was about to witness the first step toward a partnership that would survive for thousands of generations and eventually reshape human history itself. The frozen wilderness was unforgiving. Every hunt carried enormous risks, not only for humans but also for wolves. A failed chase meant wasted energy. An injury could mean death. Survival depended on making the right decisions every single day. While most wolf packs stayed far away from humans, not every wolf behaved the same way. Some were naturally more curious. Instead of running at the smell of smoke, they stopped to watch from a distance. Hidden behind rocks and trees, these wolves observed something remarkable. Humans rarely ate every part of the animals they hunted. After removing the meat, they often left behind bones, pieces of skin, and small scraps that were too difficult or too time-consuming to use. To a hungry wolf, these leftovers represented an easy meal, but approaching a human camp was dangerous. A single thrown spear or burning stick could be fatal. So the wolves waited, sometimes for hours, sometimes until the camp had fallen asleep. Only then would they quietly move in, grab whatever remained, and disappear into the darkness before sunrise. For the humans, these nighttime visitors were impossible to ignore. Fresh tracks in the snow, missing bones, faint howls echoing through the cold night. They knew wolves were nearby. At first, they likely chased them away whenever they could. After all, wolves were powerful hunters, and hungry predators could become deadly if they grew too bold. Yet something unexpected began to happen. The wolves that stayed calm around humans often found food without risking a dangerous hunt. Those that attacked or behaved aggressively were more likely to be driven away or killed. Over many generations, this created a quiet form of natural selection. The boldest and most aggressive wolves kept their distance. The calmer, more patient wolves survived and raised pups with similar temperaments. No one planned it. No one even understood it. Nature itself was slowly shaping a new kind of relationship. Meanwhile, humans also noticed a pattern. The wolves lingering near their camps did not always behave like enemies. Most simply watched. They waited. They avoided conflict whenever possible. This cautious behavior reduced fear on both sides. Trust did not appear overnight. It grew slowly, one peaceful encounter at a time. A wolf watching from beyond the firelight. A hunter choosing not to throw his spear. Small moments like these may have happened thousands of times across countless winters. Each encounter made the next one a little less frightening. Neither species knew what the future would bring, but an invisible bridge was beginning to form between them. A bridge built not through words, not through force, but through patience, observation, and survival. Those quiet nights around ancient campfires marked the beginning of a story that would eventually lead to the first true partnership between humans and another animal. And soon, that partnership would become far more valuable than either humans or wolves could have imagined. As the years passed, the distance between humans and wolves slowly became smaller, not because either side stopped being cautious, but because both had discovered something valuable. The presence of the other could increase their chances of survival. For humans, fire was more than a source of warmth, it was protection. It frightened away many dangerous predators, lit up the darkness, and became the center of every camp. Around the fire, people cooked food, repaired tools, shared stories, and planned the next day's hunt. For wolves, the fire meant something different. It marked a place where food could sometimes be found. It also kept larger predators away. Cave lions, giant hyenas, and massive bears were less likely to approach a brightly lit human camp. The wolves learned that staying near, but not too near, offered unexpected safety. Soon, another advantage became clear. A wolf's senses were extraordinary. Long before humans heard danger, wolves could smell it. They could detect the scent of an approaching predator carried by the wind, or hear distant footsteps hidden beneath the snow. When wolves suddenly became alert or began barking and howling, humans paid attention. Those sounds often meant something was coming. A bear, a rival hunting group, or another dangerous predator. Without meaning to, wolves had become an early warning system. Humans also offered something in return. When a hunt was successful, there were often scraps left behind. These leftovers fed the patient wolves waiting nearby. Neither side expected payment, neither side made promises, yet both benefited. Over time, the relationship grew stronger. Some wolves even began following human hunting parties from a distance. They watched carefully as humans tracked herds across frozen valleys. Unlike wolves, humans carried sharp spears and worked together using carefully planned strategies. The wolves observed, they learned, and sometimes, after the hunt was over, they were rewarded with the remains. Scientists believe this slow cooperation lasted for many generations. It wasn't a single event. There was no magical moment when wolves suddenly became dogs. Instead, thousands of small interactions slowly built something far more powerful than fear: trust. Every peaceful meeting made the next one easier. Every shared meal strengthened the connection. Every winter survived together brought both species one step closer. Then something remarkable began to happen. The calmest wolves started raising pups that were also calm around humans. Those pups stayed close to the camps. They learned that people were not always enemies. Generation after generation, the bond grew deeper. Without realizing it, humans were influencing the future of wolves, and wolves were changing the future of humanity. What had begun as cautious observation around distant campfires was becoming one of the greatest partnerships nature had ever seen. Neither species could have imagined that this quiet alliance would one day spread across every continent on Earth, but the biggest transformation was still waiting to come. Thousands of years passed. The relationship between humans and wolves continued to grow, not through force, but through survival. The wolves that stayed closest to human camps lived differently from the wild packs roaming the frozen wilderness. They no longer needed to chase dangerous prey every single day. Food scraps from successful hunts made life a little easier. Because these wolves lived longer, they had more pups. And those pups inherited one important trait: they were less afraid of humans. Generation after generation, this small difference became more noticeable. The wolves living near people began to change. Their behavior became calmer. They were less aggressive. They became more curious than fearful. Scientists believe that over thousands of years, these changes affected their bodies as well. Some developed shorter snouts. Others had smaller teeth. Their ears became more varied. Even the color of their fur slowly became more diverse. These were no longer ordinary wolves. They were becoming something entirely new: the first dogs. Unlike their wild ancestors, these early dogs didn't see humans as rivals. They saw them as partners. And humans quickly realized how valuable these animals could be. When hunters traveled across the frozen plains, dogs could follow scent trails long after humans had lost them. Their powerful noses detected injured animals hidden in thick forests. Their sharp hearing warned camps of approaching danger long before people noticed anything. At night, while families slept around the fire, the dogs remained awake. A sudden bark could save an entire camp from a hungry predator or an unexpected attack. As the partnership grew stronger, trust replaced fear. Children played near animals that their ancestors would once have feared. Hunters shared food with companions who had once been wild predators. It was one of the greatest transformations in natural history. Neither humans nor wolves could have achieved it alone. Each changed the other. Humans provided food, warmth, and protection. Dogs offered loyalty, awareness, and unmatched hunting skills. Together, they became stronger than either species had ever been apart. This ancient alliance helped humans survive harsh winters, explore new lands, and eventually spread across nearly every corner of the planet. Long before horses pulled wagons, long before cattle grazed in fields, dogs had already earned a place beside humanity, not as slaves, not as prisoners, but as trusted companions. An extraordinary friendship born in the frozen wilderness had become unbreakable. Yet this story was about to grow even bigger, because the bond between humans and dogs would soon help shape civilizations, change history, and leave a legacy that continues to this very day. The friendship between humans and dogs did not end with the Ice Age in many ways. It was only the beginning. As thousands of years passed, the climate slowly changed. The great glaciers began to melt, forests expanded, and human groups started settling in new regions. Instead of constantly wandering in search of food, some communities began building permanent homes. Through every step of this journey, dogs were there. They guarded camps while families slept. They tracked wounded animals during long hunts. They warned people of approaching predators and strangers long before anyone else noticed the danger. In return, humans offered food, shelter, and protection. This wasn't just a relationship, it was a partnership built on mutual trust. As agriculture slowly replaced hunting in many parts of the world, the role of dogs changed again. They helped protect livestock from wolves and other predators. They watched over villages. They traveled beside traders and explorers. Some even helped pull heavy loads across snow-covered landscapes. No matter how human civilization evolved, dogs evolved alongside it. Today, scientists continue to study ancient bones and DNA to understand exactly how this remarkable partnership began. While researchers still debate the exact place and time where wolves first became dogs, one thing is widely accepted. It was not a single event. It happened gradually over thousands of years. The friendliest wolves survived near humans. Their offspring inherited those gentle traits, generation after generation. The bond became stronger. Modern genetic studies have revealed that every dog alive today, from the smallest Chihuahua to the largest Great Dane, shares a common ancestry with ancient wolves. Yet despite thousands of years of change, traces of their wild heritage remain. A dog's keen sense of smell, its instinct to work as part of a group, its habit of communicating through body language, these behaviors remind us of a time when survival depended on cooperation. Perhaps the greatest lesson from this story is not about wolves or dogs. It's about trust. Two completely different species separated by fear and instinct slowly learned that working together offered a better future than fighting alone. That simple decision reshaped history. Without dogs, early humans may have hunted less efficiently. They may have faced greater dangers at night. Some migrations across harsh environments might have been far more difficult. The course of civilization itself could have looked very different. Today, more than 900 million dogs live alongside humans around the world. They serve as rescue dogs, guide dogs, police dogs, therapy dogs, and loyal family companions. But behind every wagging tail lies an ancient story. A story that began beside a small fire on a freezing night, when a cautious wolf chose curiosity instead of aggression, and a human chose patience instead of fear. Neither could have imagined that their quiet encounter would become one of the greatest alliances in the history of life on Earth. So the next time a dog looks into your eyes, remember, you're not just seeing a beloved pet. You're looking into the living legacy of an ancient wolf, a companion that has walked beside humanity for thousands of years and continues to do so today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into humanity's forgotten past, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next chapter of Human Dawn, where we uncover the stories that shaped our world.